Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the moon in conjunct Chiron in a natal chart. Now, first off, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart. They're a little bit concise, and some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, people, first thing up is if you have the moon in conjunct Chiron in your natal chart, one way it may manifest could be about an adjustment, which is the inconjunct may be needed between the emotional needs, which is the moon, and helping and healing others, which is Chiron. Now, the thing about this is, if you have your Chiron in Taurus as an example, there may be a lot of healing, connected with creature comforts, or, providing peace and stability to one's life, tranquility, monetary stability. Um, and what I want to be kind of rewind is that one or the other may be overemphasized. There may be too much attention put on one's emotional needs and not enough on helping and healing others, or the other way around. So there may be too much emphasis on the helping and healing, which is Chiron, and not enough on the emotional needs, or there may be too much on the emotional needs, not enough on helping and healing others. If Chiron is in Aquarius, as another example, helping and healing others may be tied in, to humanitarian, altruistic endeavors, selfless actions, or it may be associated, with something, Aquarius related, whether it could be astrology or helping others with computers or electronics, as some examples. Now, another thing too is that if you have if you have this aspect in your natal chart, there may be, because inconjuncts can be about health-related issues, there may be physical suffering, which is Chiron, that may be associated with the breast, the chest, the stomach, the ribs, or the left or right eye, which is the moon, depending on gender. And if the moon is in Pisces, say, there may be some issues, with blurred, obscure, unclear vision. Moon in Gemini may be double vision. It could be something where, if the moon is in Taurus, it may be more stubborn, persistent, issues. So, and even with, the breast, the chest, the stomach, or the ribs as well. Now, another thing too is that, keep in mind that inconjuncts can be, a lot of, imbalance in energy. It's distortion, vacillation of energy. So if you have this aspect in your natal chart, there may be either too much, expression of, or too little of the emotions, which is the moon, regarding emotional and physical wounds, which is Chiron. So the thing about this is, if you have your Chiron in Scorpio as an example, emotional, physical, related wounds, well, first off, physical related wounds may be tied in with the colon, the prostate, the bladder, the reproductive system, the urinary tract. Um, Emotional wounds, if you have your Chiron in Scorpio, maybe, connected with deep psychological issues. In some cases, it may be issues, connected with, transforming, yourself, maybe empowering others. It could be issues with power and control, or, matters that might have been pertaining to insurance, taxes, or wills, inheritances, as some other examples. And also, too, is that the mother and family, which is the moon, may either put too much concern on issues, with depleted self-esteem, which is Chiron, or none whatsoever. Now, if you have, your Chiron in Gemini, depleted self-esteem may be tied in with cerebral ability, or There may be issues with communication, disseminating and assimilating information, ability to express versatility or manual dexterity. As some examples, if your Chiron is in Aries is another example. Depleted self-esteem, may be tied in, with say, just issues, with identity, fitting into the world. It could be matters pertaining to aggression, assertiveness, forcefulness, courage, bravery, just simply taking action. And there can be a lot of vacillation, distortion of this energy. It could be again where the mother and family either may show too much concern for you in those matters or just be completely oblivious. Now, another thing too is that the deepest wound, which is Chiron, may either dominate one's ability to sleep and be in that unconscious state, which is the moon, or just may, or you may, what you could do is that you may excessively sleep in order to avoid, dealing with the reality of the situation. Now, if the moon is in Gemini, say, there may be some sleeping issues anyway because, the moon is connected with restlessness. Gemini can be very restless, so it's a very restless, placement for the moon, or just, an astrological placement that is very restless. If you have your Chiron in Libra, deepest wound may be tied with relationships or ability to collaborate with others on projects and endeavors. It could be just having peace, tranquility, being able to, compromise in some cases, issues with reconciliation. And another thing about this aspect also is that there may be an imbalance, as far as between activities, with those you're close to home with, which is the moon, and then, and then the healers, which is Chiron. There may be times where you may simply be dominated by the activities, with those you're close to home with, which is the moon, and then, and then the healer. Then other times you may be doing so many things with the healers that the people that you're close to home with may take, somewhat of a back seat. So let's say if the moon is in the zodiac sign Cancer, those people that you're close to home with may actually be, Cancer, sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply embody the traits or characteristics of the sign. It could be those that are very, sympathetic, dedicated, devoted, tenacious, protective, introverted, but may also be very fickle, moody, and temperamental as well. And the thing is, really, I think another thing too about the moon in conjunct Chiron in the natal chart, there may be times where you're exceptionally in the mood, which is the moon, to find that key, which is Chiron, to deal with, physical, emotional suffering, which is Chiron. And other times you just may be apathetic and not even try to even search for that key, so to speak, that answer. Now, if Chiron is in Virgo, say, there may be some issues with suffering because you just want everything to be, infallible or perfect, and it just never meets your expectations. But the reality could be is that, you may be actually closer to being perfect and infallible by understanding that, there's really hardly anything that is actually, perfect. And, that those are, that as an example. Anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.